Welcome back to Bruno Has It. Today I have for you a special plant. This is a Phalaenopsis hybrid by the name of Phalaenopsis Pamana. Before I continue, I have to explain the naming conventions for orchid crosses because it seems to be, from what I've seen, new orchid parents don't understand yet the joy of hybridizing. When you take two species, or a species and a hybrid, or two hybrids, they have their own name. Those are typically the species name or the Grex. That typically means if you take, for example, Phalaenopsis tetraspis and you cross it with Phalaenopsis Pasasalamat, which is a hybrid, you get Pamana. And if I were to take a different Phalaenopsis tetraspis and a different Pasasalamat, cross them together, all of the seeds produced would produce Pamanas. However, they would not all look the same. That's the joy of hybridizing. You can take the same instruction, the pathway, I guess, given to you by the hybrid name, which is registered by the Royal Horticultural Society, hosted by Q, whatever. And they take note of what went into making the hybrid so that people who are interested in recreating a hybrid can do so and get interesting results, either by different color forms or different like shapes that the plant may have that typically are bred out for a particular reason. In this case, this is probably the most vivid Pamana to have bloomed so far. The rest of the plants that he made are not as intensely colored. There are some that have the same shape, and I would go as far as to say that they might not even have all the same shape except for a few. This is more Bellina shaped, but the ones that my friend has are, I guess, rounder. And what I mean by that is that these kind of angle upwards, like the angle is more like this, whereas other hybrids that he has have the petals a little more closer to the lateral sepal. Whatever. We're not going to get into all that. I just want to talk about this plant. This was given to me in, I think, 2023. My friend had crossed his tetraspis with his Pasasalamat in 2020. He waited a year for the seed to mature. He took the seed, sent it off to a lab, Troy Meyer's conservatory, which is now defunct as he is retired after, I think, a quadruple bypass, which sucks because I had sent off seeds to him and I never got any of it back, except for one plant that survived, Miltonia, if you don't recall. And after a year of waiting, he received the flasks, I think. So at this point, it is now 2022. He got his flasks. And he had a bunch. It got into 2023 before he decided to separate the smaller ones from the bigger ones. He kept all the bigger ones. Obviously, it's a Southern Cross. So he gave me some runs and said, here are a bunch of little plantlets. I can't bear to get rid of them. Would you be interested in taking care of them? And I said, sure. These, it seems, they're like two shapes that the Pamanas that he have been taking, in the sense that a lot of them have a more standard, quote, Bellina form, and I use Bellina loosely because there's no Bellina in this allegedly, unless the Violacea is a subspecies. But there's a whole lot that goes into that. I'm not even going to cover. Let's just say it looks like Bellina. Round leaves, very typical of Bellina. In fact, this is an actual Bellina. You can see the leaves are round. It's recovering. I repotted it last year. Here's another Bellina, but this is the alba form. Again, the leaves are rounder, lobe-like. The other form that these seem to have been taking on are reminiscent of tetraspis, which have longer, more tongue-like leaves, in my opinion. Here's a side-by-side Bellina, tetraspis. This is full of water, so I'm not going to really try to, but you can see how more long these are. So that seems to be the two main leaf shapes that the Pamana cross has created. Some of them are like this, and then some of them are round. And the ones that have a more tongue-like shape have, to me, a more interesting color pattern because the flowers are like striped, whereas the ones that are like round like this tend to be whole colored, like whole solid color flowers, and don't have that that patterning. It usually just like solid color or a gradient. I think that's really cool about hybridizing because you can bring out different traits in the same plants over and over again. Like if I were to cross those, if he were to cross, because I don't have those plants, if he were to cross those plants again, who's to say what the combination would come out? And that is the joy of hybridizing. All that to say, this is the product of his crossing, and I am astounded by the color. Whatever. The point is, check that out. Hybridizing is cool. This smells amazing. And I can't wait to share with you my own hybrids.